So, in this guided meditation practice, we will come into the present moment through the sounds of the present moment, and then after grounding our attention in the sounds, we'll open our awareness to the sights, to the visual field. Then we'll come back through the body and the breath, and allowing our awareness to be vast and open like that. Sound, silence, shadow, color, light, and space, sensations of body and breath. We'll invite up an emotion, and this can be any emotion that you're working with at this time. So if you're finding the current world climate to be challenging, you might invite up anger or fear or some sort of emotion that deals with that challenge, that confrontation. And the idea is we'll hold that emotion in the present moment experience. So equally feeling the sensations of breath and body, hearing the sounds and the silence of the present moment, and seeing the shadow, color, light, and space of the visual field. So the entire present moment experience. Now, what tends to happen is one tends to focus on the emotion. And that's when we go, spinning down in anger or in fear or in despair, or it could be the other way, in bliss or in desire or lust. We get trapped by that emotion and we go spinning out into the stories that accompany that feeling, that emotion. So the idea is to hold the emotion. Let's use the example of anger for now. We hold the emotion of anger, but again, you can use any emotion for this practice. We hold that emotion equally with the rest of the present moment experience. So if you find during the meditation that you go off into thoughts, I can't believe they said this, I can't believe they did that, I'm going to knock that guy out, whatever it is, the thoughts that come up, we use that label thinking. We let those thoughts go, and we come back to the visceral experience of the present moment, feeling the emotion. What does this, again, using the example of anger, what does this anger feel like in my body? Is there a tension in the abdomen, a tension in the chest, a clenching of the jaw? Maybe there's perspiration that accompanies that. We might even see the color red, and so forth. So really being in the visceral experience of the feeling, of the emotion, in combination with the visceral experience of the rest of the present moment. Again, that would be the sounds, the silence, the empty space of the visual field, and all of the objects within that empty space. Feeling the body, feeling the breath, all at the same time. Now, it might go the other direction, where you come into the meditation practice, you're really feeling this nice, expansive experience, holding the visual field, the aural field, the body and breath. That can feel pretty nice. We might get there and say, that emotion, we try to bring it up, but it doesn't want to come up. Now, if that happens, you can use a memory, a particular instance where you felt that emotion very strongly that can allow that emotion to come up. But then don't follow it. Just allow the emotion to come up, very gently holding it, very delicately, like that. So because, again, we don't want to pursue that emotion at the expense of the rest of the present moment. So the idea is to really hold everything evenly, all at the same time, like that. Now, if you find that you really get sucked in by that emotion, you're really out of balance with the rest of the present moment, come back to the present moment. Use the sounds. I find that to be really effective to bring one back into the present moment, particularly if we're using a very heavy emotion. Because sadness or anger can really get tight in the body, and it's difficult to come back into the body and rest there. So start with the sounds, maybe then add some visual field. If you're doing this with your eyes closed, which is also fine, then just adding the sounds of the present moment. And then come back to the body and breath, like that. Okay, I think we're ready to meditate. So enjoy. This meditation is working with challenging emotions meditation. So allowing the body, mind, and heart to rest. Just coming into this present moment experience. And I'm going to ring the sound of the meditation bell. Rest your thinking mind on the sound of the bell. Allow the decay of the bell to guide your awareness into silence. And while resting there in the silence of the present moment, you can also include the sounds. You don't need to focus on any one particular sound, but notice the entire field of sounds, hearing all of the sounds all at the same time. Now ring the sound of the bell again. Rest your awareness on the decay of the bell. Allow the bell to guide your awareness into silence. And while resting in the silence of the present moment, again expanding out from that silent space, hearing the sounds, perhaps noticing how the sounds interact with the field of silence. And while resting there with the silence and sound of the present moment, allowing awareness to also expand to include the visual field. Now, if you want to keep your eyes closed, you can just take in the combination of lightness and darkness behind the eyelids. That's fine. You might notice how the patterns of light and dark shift and change behind the eyelids. If you like to have your eyes open, that's also fine, but allow the gaze to rest, not focusing on any one particular object or shape or shadow or color, but experiencing the entire visual field. Now, if you notice your eyes collapsing down on a particular object or shape, that's quite normal. If that happens, just allow the gaze to rest back and expand out to include the entire visual field. And in addition to the sounds and silence of the aural field, shadow, color, and light of the visual field, pay close attention to the quality of empty space within the sense of seeing. When you look at the emptiness itself, you might notice how that empty quality seems to hold the objects within the visual field. Much like the silence in the aural field holds the sounds. And so we'll rest right there for a few moments, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the silence and sound, shadow, color, light, and space, and just rest. And now, while resting there, with the silence and sound, the empty space and the objects within that space, noticing the sensations of feet against the mat or the floor, sensations of clothing against the legs, noticing the weight of the body against the cushion or chair, mat or floor. You might also notice sensations of clothing against the back, noticing the hands resting against the body or touching each other. The arms resting against the body. Sensations of clothing against the shoulders. There might also be sensations arising from the back of the neck, the sides of the neck. Sensations arising from the back of the head and the ears. You might notice sensations arising throughout the cheeks of the face, the lips and the nose, the eyes and the forehead. noticing any sensation arising from the top of the head. And so just rest there for a few moments, maintaining that open, spacious awareness. The sound and silence, shadow, color, light, and space, sensations arising throughout the body. And you might also notice the breath as it enters and leaves the nose. Perhaps just noticing the breath as it changes temperature from cooler to warmer, as you inhale and exhale at the nose and the back of the throat. Noticing the sensations of clothing moving across the body with each breath. The rising and falling of the abdomen as you inhale and exhale. Perhaps also noticing the body straighten up slightly as you breathe in and leaning forward slightly as you breathe out. And so just rest right there for a few moments, maintaining that open, spacious awareness on the sounds and silence, shadow, color, light, and space, sensations of body and breath, and just rest. And now, while maintaining this open, spacious awareness on the silence and sound, the emptiness and the objects within the visual field, sensations of body and breath, bring into awareness a particular challenging emotion. This could be any emotion that you're finding distracting or challenging in your life. Feeling the visceral experience of this emotion. And hearing the sounds and the silence of the present moment at the same time as feeling this emotion. Experiencing the entire visual field, the silence and sound, and feeling the physical experience of this emotion. sensations from the top of the head to the bottoms of the feet, and the visceral experience of this feeling. Noticing the breath from the nose to the abdomen and the visceral experience of this emotion. And just rest, holding all of that, all at the same time. And if you find you're having thoughts about the emotion, labeling those thoughts with the word thinking. Letting the thoughts go and feeling the visceral experience of this emotion. And you can use pointer questions as a way of guiding your awareness deeper into this emotion. And so while resting in the sound and silence, shadow, color, light, and space, sensations of body and breath, while resting in that, posing the following questions. What does this emotion feel like in my body? Don't try to answer the question, but allow the question to guide your awareness into the visceral sensation of the emotion. Where does this emotion arise in my body? Is it in the abdomen, the chest, the shoulders, is there a particular color that arises with this emotion? Holding the visceral experience of this emotion with the sense of hearing, sound, and silence, shadow, color, light, and space, body and breath, and just rest. Allowing awareness to remain vast, open like the sky. Sound and silence, empty space and the objects within, sensations of body and breath, and holding the visceral experience of this emotion, all at the same time.